So I just saw Deadpool and Wolverine in the theater. It was actually pretty good. It was a lot better than I expected. I wasn't expecting to see it, but I got a ticket and enjoyed it. Had a good time. There was good and bad about it, but I'll start with the very best stuff about it. Wolverine was awesome. Hugh Jackman's born to play that role and awesome as it, and great to have him back as a character. And hopefully we'll see him in more other stuff besides just more Deadpool and Wolverine. But he was great. The action was good. The jokes were good. There was a lot of good stuff in it. The music was good and well done. It was a good movie in a lot of ways. It was a lot of fun. And of course, the very worst thing about it was some fascist ideas. And I say that knowing full well that Ryan Reynolds was playing Deadpool. There was a few fascist ideas, including at one point he is misunderstood or someone mishears a word he says, and he says, well, I don't want to get canceled by the woke mob. At another point, he says to somebody, you round earther, as if he's a flat earther, and that's a condescending remark to call someone a round earther. In another part, he says that he's not going to comment on climate change or vaccines or other things that a right-wing person might not want to admit their beliefs about in mixed company or, say, on a dating site, is what I've heard, because they're abhorrent beliefs and no one would want to be around them. If you had, or that, apparently on dating sites, I saw some recently where people say they don't have any political beliefs to hide the fact that they're conservative, when if you have, liberal, leftist, woke beliefs of any type, then you wouldn't have really anything to be ashamed of. So unless you're too much of a centrist. But again, point being that you can't make the right or the alt-right or whatever you want to call it okay. And underlying all of this is the very idea of the multiverse, which is a, maybe not specifically an alt-right idea, but it's taken up very much by them, like the red pill crowd misunderstanding the Matrix. If there are truths to the ideas that produce multiverse types of conclusions, they're not those conclusions. They're not that there's other universes out there where I'm just wearing a different colored shirt or different decisions were made or whatever. We're all there in different ways. That always struck me as an excuse for destroying our world. Like oil companies will promote that view that we can just transfer over to another dimension, something like that. There could be plenty of other dimensions here, but they're not, something we can destroy one world and go to another one. And I think that's what that type of thinking enables too much in our society because of those forces at work. He even says this multiverse thing was done first and best with The Wizard of Oz, and we should have let it go there. The thing is, The Wizard of Oz isn't multiverse. In the movie, Oz is depicted as a dream, in a dream state, which also isn't multiverse necessarily. But again, it doesn't have to be multiverse. You can have other dimensions and other realities and things without it being a multiverse, like different replications of the same universe over and over again with minor twists, which is always the unfortunate depiction in science and stuff. And it might be okay in comic books, in the Marvel comics. I think it was overdone even then, but it's taken up too much by fascists. There's a reason why fascists take up that idea. But in the books, the Wizard of Oz books, Oz was not a different dimension or a dream state. It was the fairyland in the earth, protected and shielded from the outside world, a land where there's no money and no war, or like what I like to see as the future, but protected from the outside world by magic. So it's not an alternate universe, it's part of this universe, different dimensions of this universe, like fairylands are often considered to be. But anyway, seeing things as a multiverse has its own fascist implications. And for all this fascism, it doesn't really balance it out or counterbalance it that they mention. Deadpool mentions or refers to himself as Marvel Jesus a bunch, but he does refer to himself as Marvel Jesus a bunch, so I imagine as many different types of people are going to see this movie. The same clan that was the Trump Putineers, who were triggered by the Antichrist Trump Putin followers, who are triggered by the Blue Jesus at the Olympics, will be equally triggered by Marvel Jesus and how popular that is right now. But anyway, it doesn't really make up for any fascism. There shouldn't be any fascism, but since there is, since it is in this movie, and those are the things that stand out to me, but mention in comments or let us know if you've seen other things too. At least we can talk about it. And talking about how multiverse is kind of a fascist or fascist enabling concept is maybe one way to deal with less multiverse themed and based entertainment in the future. So thanks, and see you soon. See you at the movies.